Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Java with Judd, the next edition. Hope everyone's having a great morning. If you were unable to watch us this morning, here's your recorded broadcast. Today, we're going to talk about converting a 401k Roth to a Roth or what we have as a life pension. We want to convert that 401k, 403b, IRA, which is 100% taxable, into a vehicle where it's going to grow tax deferred and then take distributions tax free. So let's get into it. I'll share my screen. So here we are, Roth conversion session. So just want to go through this as I always do. Tolmen Financial uses common sense principles. We use math and science. We use a lot of the rule that is what Einstein considered the eighth wonder of the world, compounding. When we see that graph, and it really takes a while to get going, but once it starts to snowball, things really start happening, and we can't truncate that. It's just to grind it out. Got to get there. And I'm telling you, when you can get to that first 100,000, I don't care what investment or total portfolio, that thing really starts to spark. And it may take 20, 25 years to get to that 100, but then maybe only 7 or 8 years to get to the next 100. So you would have 200,000. Now, 2 or 3, 4 years to get to 300. It really, really, really begins to take off, and as long as you don't mess it up too bad, it's hard to stop. So we want to get you on the other side of that ball, the other side of that snowball, so that you're running downhill instead of running uphill as you reach or get into retirement. So we mesh everything together. It's very complex. You want to do it yourself, fantastic, but we've got lots of years of experience. I'm in my 39th year of being a financial analyst, and I think we understand and keep up with everything that's going on very well. We're constantly doing workshops. We're constantly invited to different workshops where things are being changed, and we call this financial engineering. Got to have all the cogs in the wheel turning the right way so that you can maximize everything that you've worked hard for. Just a quick note, we're talking about converting from that 401k. Time Magazine had it right in October of 2009. It's time to retire the 401k. They saw the print on the wall. It's been a great experiment. It started in 1979. The first real 401k came out in 1981. It was never meant to be a full retirement plan. It was meant to bonus those elite executives who already had a pension, but they were able to use this as a bonus program and take that money off tax free on the front end. But it was only meant, as a bonus. It was never meant for companies to take whole pensions and convert them to a 401k. The 401k was never designed to take distributions for the rest of your life. And if you leave it in there, what the stock people say is that you should only take out 4% a year. So that way they know that you're not going to lose all of your money if the market goes down, or make your income go down, because who knows what's going to happen to the market. And those accounts are also 100% taxable. So let's say you have $1 million in your 401k. That means you can take out 40,000 a year to make sure that you don't run out of money, but then you have to pay taxes. So your spendable income might be 32, 34,000 out of that $1 million. I think we have better alternatives than that. Of course, once you start a 401k and a lot of them are being auto enrolled now. When you work at a new employer, they'll auto enroll you, and be careful of this, they'll do automatic increases to your percentage that you are contributing without you knowing. So make sure you understand what's going on all the way through, and make sure if you are going to be involved in the 401k, at least do the match. Be careful of that too, because sometimes, they say they're matching 4%, but it's not dollar for dollar. You have to put in 6% maybe of your money to get the full 4%. So be careful of that. But you're signing a contract with Uncle Sam, because when you start taking distributions, he's going to take his tax money on the federal side, and then you're still going to pay state tax depending on what state you live in. So here we are, partnering with Uncle Sam, not knowing what the tax rate's going to be down the road. That's why we need to really look at converting some of this money to a Roth, or what we like to call a life pension, which neither one of those you would have to pay taxes on when you start taking distributions. What's a better solution? So if we take systematic distributions, and we'll show you a tax table here shortly, instead of yanking the whole amount out all at once, and paying that exorbitant tax, let's do it on a systematic basis, and make sure we're staying below that next tax bracket if possible. Because believe me, they sold this on the idea that you would be in a lower tax bracket when you retired. That's not true. They even admit that's not true. In fact, you might be in a higher tax bracket than when you started. So should we take the seed money they're giving us up front, knowing that down the road we may actually be in a higher tax bracket? So we put off the tax on that money, and now we're going to pay more in tax anyway because we're in a higher tax bracket. That's for you to decide. I'm just letting you know that that tax doesn't go away. You didn't get that money put in there and never have to pay taxes on it again. You just prolong the time in which you're going to have to pay it. So take this systematic distributions, and then move it to a non-taxable account. So what's a better solution, the Roth IRA or the life pension? Both offer the non-taxable growth and tax-free distributions. So what we recommend, and this is what we do for our clients, we start out, we find out your current tax bracket, because you may have a lot of headroom where we can pull that money out, stay in that same tax bracket, and then move some of that money over, pay the tax, then move it over into one of these not taxable vehicles, so that you can now have growth from that point, and then never worry about how much interest it earned and how much tax you're going to owe on that account. Like I said earlier, your tax bracket should not change in retirement. You shouldn't go destitute. If you're making good money, you shouldn't then go and have no money or less money in retirement. You want to live in the same lifestyle. We want you to do that too. We want to help you get there and stay there. So one of the options is we can start taking money at 59 and a half out of a 401k, even if you're still employed there. Start moving money out of that into one of these other two vehicles, pay the tax, and then deposit those funds in the Roth IRA or into our life pension. This is a tax bracket I was talking about. We have not updated it to the new tax tables, but this is how it works. So if you're married filing jointly, your first dollar to $19,750 is taxed at 10%. Then you go to the next level, where at 12%, you pay all the way up to $80,000 at 12%. Then over 80, but less than 171,050, that goes to 22%. So if married filing jointly, you're making $120,000, $130,000 a year, you still have some headroom there to get to that 171 mark, and you're probably not going to retire in the 12% tax bracket. At least I hope you're not. Then our next bracket is 171 to 326. Okay, there's a whole lot of headroom there, and it's only 2% more. I think, in my estimation, that I take advantage of that while I can, because I know they said these new tax tables are there for life, but I just can't believe that they're never going to touch these or never make them go up. Folks, we're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We're not even close to bringing that in on the tax side. So our taxes are not paying for even the interest on that debt. So we're printing more money. And I know that we're bringing in money on tariffs, but it's going to be a long time. It's just like being in credit card debt. You're upside down. It takes you forever to get that paid off if you've really overspent on that credit card. And then they're charging exorbitant interest rates, and that's where we're at with our government debt right now. So if we really look at how we can take money out of those taxable vehicles and go from an account that's forever taxed into an account that's never taxed. So forever taxed, pay the tax on that distribution, and then let's go to somewhere where we're never going to be taxed again. Again, find your current tax bracket. What's your timeline? How long do we have? If you're 59 and a half, are you going to retire at 66, 67? Where's your lane, so that we can help provide you with a path and a plan to get you to where you need to be. Because like they say, the old phrase, don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't have all your cash flow in one area. Don't have 401k money, Social Security, and that's it. You've got to have multiple cash flow streams, so that if one maybe is getting taxed too much, we can push that over to one that's not being taxed until we get more favorable tax, a more favorable tax situation. So what's your timeline? What's a good balance in your 401k? We don't really want to look at depleting it, but if it's growing and you're on the other side of that snowball, let's not let it get to behemoth size. And now it's so hard to move. It's like a huge ship in the ocean that you can't turn on a dime. Let's keep it more nimble. Let's keep those accounts manageable, so that, okay, yeah, we do need to take some money out of the 401k, but we have this other account now that we can take that's tax free. And then when you hit 73 or you hit 75 by 2030, the government's going to tell you how much you have to take out of that account. And we don't want anybody in that government plan. We want you to have the plan that you design, not the one that the government has designed for you. You won't like it. You're going to get there. And if you drive your truck right to the finish line and you say, hey, Judd, here, I'm ready to retire. I got my 401k. That's all I got. Okay, we'll help you. No problem. We'll set it up. But you really handcuffed us on different ways you could have pivoted to have a tax-free account or some other type of account that would be more advantageous to you. Now we're kind of pigeonholed into what we can do, but we'll make it work. But if we start planning early, we can really make big strides in how we can structure your retirement. And on another account, there are ways to take money out before 59 and a half without paying that 10% penalty. So if you're 55 and maybe you're not working as hard, or you've gone into a consultant type situation just to keep that money coming in so you can let that 401k grow, let's talk about the 72T distribution, where we can start taking money out before you're 59 and a half and start pushing that, paying the tax, and pushing that into a situation where we don't have to pay any taxes anymore. Then work the plan. Don't set up a plan and then let it go and don't fund it. You know, that doesn't make any sense. So we also need to keep tweaking the plan, because things change. 1981, you could get a CD at 14% and your money would double twice. So if you had $100,000 in 5 years, you'd have $200,000. In 10 years, you'd have $400,000. You didn't need me. You didn't need the stock market. You didn't need a financial advisor. There's your plan for that period. When it came off of that 10-year period, it was much different. Okay, now we got to pivot to something else. But you've got to stay on top of things. This financial literacy that we're trying to help people get, and with our Millionaire in the Mirror series on YouTube, we're really trying to help people increase their financial literacy. And if you go to YouTube, which I'm assuming you're watching on right now, please like us and subscribe so that we can get more traction and have that pushed out to more people so we can help more more people along the way. Of course, they're changing the rules on the 401k and the Roth. People, believe me, any government program that you're in, I don't like. I don't like when people are telling me what I have to do with my money, and they change the rules along the way. So the 401k rules have changed. The Roth rules have changed. Keeping up with them is a daily task. So we want to make sure you understand the rules before you get too far into those programs. And like I said, tax brackets right now are really good. Now's a good time to take advantage of converting money from a fully taxable account. Like I said, there's rules for the 401k and Roth. The Roth IRA, you have to have in place for 5 years. So if you don't have one right now that you can put money in, then you're starting from zero. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to push money to a Roth and then start taking it out in 2 or 3 years, no, you're going to have a penalty. That thing has to be enforced for 5 years, and you can't really touch it till you're 59 and a half. Those 2 rules. So again, rules on top of these programs can be changed and sometimes aren't really the most advantageous for you. And of course, we can help you navigate through those. So the life pension that we talk about is so versatile. You can start that life pension when you first start your first job and employment. You can fund it halfway through your career. You can do it in pre-retirement. You can do it in retirement. We have a lot of people that are deciding, hey, I don't want that 401k to grow anymore. So we're taking off the interest and we're paying the tax and we're putting in this life pension so that it's never taxed again. And the government can't tell me or my clients when or how much they have to take out. You can also decide your pension amount. So let's say I want an extra $12,000 coming in tax-free, then we know how much we need to fund the life pension that will give you that kind of distribution each year. So if you want $1,000 a month, we can get you to that point and then leave the rest in the 401k. That's up to you. But I really think that people need to have that non-taxable account where they can pull money from. The other thing about the life pension is you can start distributions, you can stop them, you can increase, you can decrease. You don't have to start them at all. You can let that money grow and let it go to the next generation. No one's telling you to take it out. But when it goes to that next generation, whoever that beneficiary is, they're going to get it tax-free. So that whole account is tax-free, and it's going to be more than what's in that cash value. Like no rules at 59 and a half. And like I said, they're not telling you when to take your distributions, and always tax-free. The lump sum I just said would be paid to your beneficiary tax-free. We also have a part of this program in this life pension where you could put in maybe $150,000 or $200,000 and then have 15 or 20,000 go actually into the actual life pension each year. But the money that's in the side account will be guaranteed at 5%. That's fluctuating, but right now it'll be locked in for up to 10 years at 5% interest. And then each year, that interest on top of that would be deposited into that life pension. You can take the money out of that side account at any time, but you can't take, you have to take 100% distribution if you take money out. But it's a way that we can guarantee that money's going to be coming in on that money and push it over into the life pension over a certain number of years. That goes back to your timeline. This is amazing for wealth transfer or the Roth conversion. The Roth conversion, this is honestly made for, because if we're only a portion of the way into funding this life pension and something would happen to you, you would get this whole account plus some in the life pension, where if you were doing the Roth, you're only going to get that amount that was in the Roth to the beneficiary. Of course, both would be tax-free, but ours would be even more than the planned amount would have been for you to put into the life pension. We also don't talk enough about when one of the two spouses or significant others passes away, that Social Security is now gone. You can't have two Social Securities. So you take the biggest one, of course, but that leaves one behind. So let's say one spouse is getting $2,500 a month, which is around $28,000 for the year, and the other one's getting $2,000, so that's $24,000. That's a lot of money to give up, $24,000 a year out of your spendable net cash flow. So this is a way that we can replace that and not worry about losing that Social Security as much. And just remind you again, everything you take out is tax-free. So that's basically what I have for you today on the differences of converting to a Roth or life pension. Contact us if you want more information. There's a lot more information out there. We're trying to simplify it for you and give you, the basics. But contact us at judd@tolmenfinancial.com. You can register for our most up-to-date videos as we put them out there. Of course, they'll be on Facebook, but we do have bonus material. We have newsletters that go out usually on a weekly basis, and we have specified or specific newsletters that go out to different occupations. If you're a state employee, we've helped over 250 people retire and plan in the state employee venue. Whether you're in perf or turf, it doesn't matter. They're the same, but they're changing things all the time too. And just navigating that website can sometimes be very cumbersome. So we want to help you and let you know of any changes in those programs too. And that would be an example of one of our specific newsletters. So again, we ended on the 401 conversion, Java with Judd series, Millionaire in the Mirror. Look for us on YouTube. Subscribe, please. And there's my contact and phone number information. I want to thank you all for stopping by. It's been we've had a lot of great results from people watching our videos. Please tell your friends, hey, this is something that you need to be doing. You need to be, staying up on the financial literacy and keep educating yourself. It doesn't stop. You've got to keep doing it day in and day out. You can't put it on the shelf and wait 5 years. And that's why we're here. We're here to help you simplify it and give you the videos and the information and help educate you on your personal finance. Again, my name is Judd Tolmen. Thank you for watching.